All right. With all that said, let's jump into the show real quick. Um, First, we got, and this is Warren's topic. And when I say Warren's topic, Warren threw this out on a thread. He said, "Hey, look at this. What about this?" As Warren does. Warren's very subtle when he has ideas. He never calls me. He never gives a whole explanation. He just sends something and just leaves it out there as a do with it what you will. so, but he's also the silent assassin. And I'm pretty sure if I don't take his idea on, he's got a whole little notch.
He does know how to fly drones.
He does.
I do. I'm pretty good with a drone.
Right, right. So, what's up, Rachel Conrad? Thank you for joining us. She says, "Hi, guys. What's going on? Good to see you." Victoria says her birthday is coming up on Sunday. She'll be 37. Victoria,
Okay.
I just saw you a few weeks ago. You don't look a day over 25, girl. So you're doing well. Hang in there. Keep doing what you're doing. All right.
Old as dirt.
All right. So 5 days ago, a lot of people may have seen it. Some of you may not have seen it. There was a black man that went viral when he was speaking about critical race theory at a school board meeting. And it went viral because a lot of what he was saying was against critical race theory. He talked about his children and he wouldn't teach his kids that and how he has 2 medical degrees and how dare people think that I would ever allow a white person, a white man, tell me what I can and can't do. White people are not going to keep you from doing anything. White people are not looking to keep you from doing anything. There's a lot of other things he said in there, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. Before I turn it over to Deon real quick, because normally we start with Warren, then Deon, then myself. We're going to start with Deon on this one. But before we do, there's a couple things. And I was talking to Deon about this in the pre-show meeting. I said, there's something I have to expose myself about when I bring this topic up. I like to think of myself as a pretty smart guy who always looks at everything inside and out. I did not do my due diligence on this one. Don't be shaking your head at me over there like you're shaking off pitches. But I did not do my due diligence on this one because what I found today when I was looking at it was that this man is the host of a conservative show. His name is Ty Smith. He's a conservative host of a show on YouTube, and both his children are nearly adults. 2 of them are nearly adult grown men. It made what he was saying, for me anyway, all the less important once that was kind of divulged. Well, I shouldn't say divulged, once I found that in my own investigation. From there, I want to go ahead and let Deon jump out, kind of explain to all of us critical race theory, because I'm sure everyone's not up on it, and then to our podcast listeners who may be listening, hopefully, as well, what critical race theory exactly is, and then we'll jump into the topic from there. And as always, we want to hear the comments from you guys, Victoria, Jessica, Rachel, Facebook user, and everyone else who's watching. Deon, go ahead and take it away.
So, according to Google, critical race theory is an academic movement of civil rights scholars and activists in the United States who seek to critically examine the law as it intersects with issues of race and to challenge mainstream liberal approaches to racial justice. So, the key word in that whole sentence was law. The legal discrimination of non-whites in America for X amount of years up until the civil rights movement where we got that finally changed. So when we talk about critical race theory, first I want people to know it's not a theory. Like it's a well-known documented thing. It's not a theory. We don't have Bunsen burners going. There's nobody in the lab going, I think this might be. No, it's documented. It's lived. It's real experience. So I don't even like the term theory. If you can't handle having a conversation about the role in which racism has played in the lives of your fellow American citizens, you don't get to call yourself a patriot. You don't get to ignore the problems of your own country because they benefit you to ignore them and then call yourself a patriot. If you love America so much, how can you say that you're going to ignore the problems that are bred right here at home? If you're more upset about 9/11 than you are about the institutional racism that we have in this country, you really, really need to take a hard look at yourself and figure out why that is. How is it that you can see the Taliban as a greater threat to America than the hate we have here at home already. So I really want people to understand that the idea of examining the laws that we've had on the books and their impact on Americans versus other Americans in this country is not a threat to any human being as far as their well-being is concerned. The only thing it does is it challenges your idea of where your belief system comes from. And I think that's the most important part of it is people need to understand where they got their beliefs from and who taught them to them and why they taught them to them.
And before we go to Warren on this topic, I want to remind people that above our three heads there's a link. If you guys want to jump in, we would love for you guys to jump in on this topic or anything else we start discussing here, and share your thoughts with us. For those of you who've done it before, seen it done before, you jump in. We have a nice conversation with you. We may even throw some questions your way and keep you on a little bit and let you be a part of the show. So we want you to do that if you feel so inclined. But remember, you will be seen by everyone who's watching right now. So have your bathrobe on or whatever, because we all can see all your business. Warren, your thoughts on this topic?
As Deon pointed out, it was the word theory that it didn't even catch it. I didn't catch it until Deon had said something about it earlier and how it bothered him, and it shouldn't be taught like it's new. It's history. This is stuff that's already happened. It happened in the past. Everything in the past is history, so it should be taught as history. And there are times, and it does happen, of course, currently. But the word theory means questionable. It means maybe. That's why it's a theory. Who ate your cookies at work? I have a theory. It was it was eaten. You're just not sure who did it. So the word theory really threw me there. The guy had he reminded me of you a little bit, Sidney, only because you're a pull yourself up by your bootstraps type person, and I think that's what he was trying to say. But I also felt like he said himself he would continue to debunk. If they taught this in schools, he would go around continuing to debunk what they're saying, which means he's saying it's not true at all. It's not true in his life. It's not true with him, which I'm happy for him. But surely he knows people who caught their brunt plus his brunt plus somebody else's, because I know I've got enough for me and a couple other people. So you can't say it's not a theory. It's something that happened. So that was the main big part of it that got me.
Yeah, and I get where you're saying what you're saying, Warren, because I'm a pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of guy. But when it comes to race, and I'm not going to say I'm this across the board because we had the conversation about the $15 minimum wage raise and so on and so forth. When it comes to this, I make the allowance for, because this is a systemic situation in terms of race in this country, that it cannot always be a poor. I want everyone out there of color to want to do that. I want everyone of color to do that and to succeed. But that does not mean I will overlook that there is a systemic issue in this country. And anytime there's a light trying to be cast on it, and I didn't grow up during the 60s. I wasn't there with the dogs and the water hoses and everything. So I'm hesitant to say this, but I feel like this is sometimes a new version of that. Anytime there's any discussion where we want to shine a light on all of American history, there's this pushback. Why should certain things be taught that are complete lies, such as Christopher Columbus discovered America? We still have a Christopher Columbus Day, and that is something that is celebrated in terms of everyone gets the fucking day off. And this is something that should be pushed back on. This goes back to, and this is going to bring up a question I'm going to throw to you guys and to our master debaters. It is always about how you communicate things to these people. And when I say these people, I'm not talking about all the white people. I'm talking about that group of people that are so willing to, again, to use the term again, push back on anything that is not about them or looks like them. So what way, and I know what Deon is going to say, so let me go ahead and I'm assuming what Deon is going to say. Deon does not think there should be any change giving to the message or to the messaging. I'm one who says we always have to figure out how we're going to approach this situation with those people. You know, We can never look like we're asking for something, because the minute we look like we're asking for something, it becomes an issue. Now, all we're asking for, again, using the word that I hate to use, is for that the next generation coming up be taught certain things. And
If I
what
could
the
jump in before you go to Dion,
Go
only
ahead.
because you used the word we don't want to look like we're asking.
That's
Well,
what I
if we
said. I
don't
caught
want,
myself.
no, but I'm
Oh,
saying
okay.
I'm going. I know white people who feel like they're unhappy with Black Lives Matters because they feel they're demanding things of white people. So my question is, if we're not asking, are we asserting, or are you saying we're demanding?
I'm saying the issue always lies with them, because they can always formulate however they want to formulate whatever we're trying to say to them. So you can come across saying, "Hey, could you pass me the butter?" But if I don't want to pass you this butter, I can say you're asking me it however I want to say you're asking me. Why are you demanding I pass you the butter? That's not what I said. I just asked you if you would pass me the butter. No, 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 I don't like the way you said it. And I feel like that's what we run into each and every time we're trying to get something across to that group of people. Now, they don't want white kids, their kids, taught anything in terms of slavery and part of the real history of this country, which is just completely asinine to me, that you want to pick and choose what you want to learn and what that child should learn and ignore all the rest of it. You guys want to go ahead and take it, Deon?
So you're asking me, how do we get the message across without seeming like we're asking for
I'm,
something?
I'm asking both of you, is there a way to do it? If
No, you cannot make people do something they don't want to do. They have to decide for themselves. And this is the biggest issue that we've come across in this country. Um, you can't make anybody change. You can show them why change is necessary, but they have to decide whether or not they want to change or not. I can't change your mind. I can present you with a new set of options, and then you get to make that choice. But I physically can't do anything to you other than give you more information that you didn't have before, and now you have a new option as far as your choices go. So again, this is why I said a few episodes ago that this is not a black people problem, it's a white people problem. They created this issue. They created a separate but equal system, and I'm using quote fingers for the people on the podcast. They created this. And now it's come back to bite them in the ass, because it's not a system that you can maintain when you preach equality and we're all the same and one nation under God, blah, 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 right? At some point, the chickens come home to roost, and you got to feed them. And here we are, 2021, and we're still dealing with the same issues that they created years ago. So how do black people convince white people who never meet any black people, who don't know what systemic racism about? How do we convince them that it exists without making it seem like we're trying to demand something from them? And all I can say to them is this: